Rock 100.5 KATT. My name is Cameron Buchholtz, and I am here with Will of Collective Soul. What's going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Hanging out in where am I? Tulsa, Oklahoma.
All right, nice. Yeah. You're doing the casino up there tonight, and then tomorrow night you'll be down here in Norman. And it's always good to have you guys back, man. You guys are on a pretty regular rotation of playing around here every year and a half or so, and it's always great.
Yeah, man. It's a good little college town, man. We've had some fun there. Good crowds too.
I know. Are you on a rotation like that with most places at this point? Like, are you kind of going back to the same places over and over again, or do you guys still get to play in new spots?
Both. I mean, there's still places we get to. We're like, wow, never been here. We had a real nice place we were at last week. Uh, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, man. Both. I mean, some of these places is like old, home sweet home. We're back again. And then some is some are new. Just depends.
Gotcha. And do you find it's comforting somehow to go back to the same places, or kind of what's your mindset about it, or is it like, oh, this place again?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, we feel comfortable in those certain spots that we get to go back to. Yeah, if it wasn't cool, we probably would tell the agent not to put us back in there.
Is there a spot that comes to mind? You don't have to say the actual spot, but is there something that comes to mind recently that you had to tell your agent, like, hey, no, not again?
Yeah, I can't. I can't think of any places right now that I would like to mention.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine at this point in y'all's career, you're pretty well past the hell gig era of where things could pop up like that.
Yeah, and when we were younger, we kind of liked the hell gigs. So we had fun in the '90s. We played everywhere. We played all the local cool spots that were basically hell holes. That when we started out, we would play all the time. We'd be playing 20 something shows in a row and at the cool bar, that everybody always played at growing up. But yeah, now it's a little different now.
And how much touring did you guys really do back then before, the first record came out and kind of before you guys were known? Was it pretty regional? Were you out there?
Yeah, we were totally regional. We were really, I mean, we played Atlanta area a lot, but we were more of a studio band than we were, a touring band, and so to speak, working on songs in the studio and stuff like that.
And nowadays, you guys still put out a fair amount of output especially for a band of that era. I don't know too many bands that kind of have the recording schedule that you guys do. What do you attribute that to?
Man, we're just still creative. When we get together, it still flows out of us, and it's part of it's part of who we are. Creating is something that still gets our heart pumping and our blood flowing, man.
Gotcha. And do you ever foresee that like stopping? Because there's lots of bands out there that don't put out new records anymore and kind of just tour on the hits. And
I mean, Paul McCartney still releases records. As far as I'm concerned, we're gonna keep releasing records too.
And do you think what's your favorite part, I guess, at this point? Is it still the creating the new songs, or is it bringing them to the people out on the stage?
Yeah, I mean, favorites. It's not really a favorite thing. It's just both of those things I need. We realized, especially right when COVID hit, it was okay in the beginning, but after about 3 months, we were all ready to get back out and start playing live again as well. So it's just one of those things where we need them both, man. We like to tour, and we still are creating a lot of new stuff.
And with that probably comes each year, it just gets harder and harder to make your set list, right?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good problem to have. But I mean, we just look at it like, okay, we know we're not everybody in the room's going to hear every song they want to hear. So we just, it's a celebration of life when we play live. So it's a celebration, and we try not to worry too much about trying to please everybody. We just try to make a set that flows really well, and that if it flows well and everybody's having fun, then nobody's going to necessarily whine about not hearing a specific song, hopefully.
And now, I mean, is there a song that you feel like you absolutely have to play? Like I'm assuming Shine is always in the set list, right?
Yeah, Shine's always in the set list. I mean, World I Know is always in the set list. December. A lot of those are always in the set list, yeah.
And now, have you guys had a chance to maybe do a show, maybe in Atlanta or something like that, where you really dive into songs that you don't usually play live, like a lot of the new stuff, or even more album tracks in the early stuff?
Yeah, I think there was an era right before COVID where we were playing some 3 hour sets. And yeah, once we get into 3 hours, yeah, there's lots of deeper cuts. So yeah, and man, our fans, there's not a single song off any of our records we could play that our fans wouldn't know. They know all the songs.
Mm-hmm. And now, who makes the set list, or kind of how do you guys decide that at this point? Is it a group effort, or is there
We
one
just
guy
start.
that kind of does it?
It's just a trial and error, man. Look, we're going to play a few new songs off vibrating, and then we put those in, and we just trial and error and see where the flow is going to go. Like you mentioned, there's always going to be some anchor points. There's going to be shine at some point. There's going to be this really, we do a cool extended version of December. That's always going to be. So there's a few anchor points, and then we just try to put in some songs maybe we haven't played in a while, mixed in with some new tunes, mixed in with some classics, and like I said, through trial and error we figure out a really good flow. So yeah, we've been touring now this summer. It's been going pretty hard for about 2 months, and it took us about 3 weeks to get a set list where we felt like we were really comfortable with it.
Nice. And you're mostly just doing like weekends headlining spots this summer, right?
Yeah, a lot of headline, a lot of festivals. Next year will be more of a group tour where we'll get together with semis and hit the amphitheaters. But yeah, this year we're doing a lot of headlining one-offs like Norman, and doing a lot of festivals.
And so was that a discussion at the beginning or last, I guess winter, probably, when you have to start planning this stuff, of, okay, we're gonna just do, the headlines this year, or is it just the amphitheater run didn't work out, or how does that kind of work year to year?
Yeah, it's you've got these ebbs and flows, and so next year we know that we're going to have another new record that we just finished. The Quintessential Collective Soul documentary will be out next year. So this year, by design, was to go play as many festivals and just one-offs in some of the smaller markets, and stay away from maybe some of the bigger markets and big amphitheaters. And because we know we're coming back and doing that all next year.
Gotcha. And I'm sure you can't say the details of Source because it's a year away.
Yeah,
But big
there's some
co-headlining thing, or
there's some good bills floating around. There's some good combinations, man. Some good bands that everybody would know and love. Some and friends of ours too that would that we would have a great time touring with.
nice. And you guys are kind of in an interesting spot when it comes to who you're able to play with, because I feel like you can play with a pretty wide breadth of bands. I know you've gone out with, the more classic rock bands like Styx and Sammy Hagar, and then obviously the 90s, and there's lots of more modern bands that you can easily fit in too. I mean, what
Yeah.
kind of do you guys look for when you're planning that stuff?
Yeah, I mean we've noticed that, right? We can fit in with a couple different molds. Yeah, it's just whatever feels right and whatever opportunities come up, and we just decide what we want to do. We love playing with Sammy and the Circle. We were almost on the Aerosmith tour this year, but in the same breath, 2 years ago was us, Tonic, and Better Than Ezra. And those are all friends from the '90s, and we have a blast tour with those guys too. So just
Nice.
depends on what the opportunities are and what we feel like doing.
I'd imagine your liver probably prefers you not go out with Sammy Hagar.
Sammy still likes to party, and when Sammy asks you to take a shot of tequila with him, you don't say no. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And now I'd imagine you guys are pretty well past the point of party all the time on the road, right?
yeah, we still have a lot of fun on the road. We still do a lot of the same stuff we did in our 20s, to be honest with you. So yeah, it's we have to take care of ourselves a little more because it hurts more these days.
Sure.
But yeah, we still laugh at the same things and do a lot of the same stuff that we did 20, 30 years ago.
Nice. And now you mentioned the documentary. Can you tell me more about what's going into that?
I mean, we're going on 30 years. We've known me, Ed and Dean have known each other our whole lives. So there's a story there that people realize it's a small town story, but they don't really know the depth of Collective Soul's story and how how unique it is, and and somehow how we got to come out of that small town and conquer the world of rock and roll. I think it's going to be an eye opening, even for the hardcore Collective Soul fans. I think there's going to be a lot of moments where they're going to be like, wow, I had no idea.
Awesome, man. Well, sounds like guys are gonna have a massive 2024, and super stoked for tomorrow night down at Riverwind Casino. And just I very much appreciate the time.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thank you. I appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow, man.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.